Patience is a virtue. It's absolutely true. The older I get in my personal life, I understand that. And the more business experience I get, I 100% embrace the idea of being patient in business. But there's more than just sitting back and waiting. That's part of patience. But doing your part, moving the situation along, making the effort, being smart about it, being consistent and patient. When you do all of those things together, you can create great opportunities for success for yourself. I'm going to give you a real world opportunity example right now. Patience that's paying off for some friends of mine in their business. I can't tell you the details of everything. It's not public yet, but I'm going to give you some good examples that you can sink your teeth into and apply to whatever it is you need to be patient with as well. So let's have a conversation about how current success, future success, everything you're working on needs patience. It needs understanding. It needs consistency. And you have to work smart and work hard so that that patience pays off. It's not about waiting. It's about making things happen and waiting for the right situation, not waiting to put effort in. You have to be putting effort in the whole time. That's why you want to work smart, work hard, and be consistent. But waiting for the right situation, not taking the first offer that comes along, not taking fast cash, not accepting the first partner that maybe isn't right, or the first collaborator, the first situation that doesn't feel right. And how do you know if it feels right or not? That's the last part of the equation here, following your gut. Now, it sounds easy to say follow your gut, but if you look back at every major decision you made, every major move, when you decided something wasn't good for you, when you decided something was good for you, when you realized that something was what you needed to pursue, the first indication of that was your gut. You know that thing, the voice in the pit of your stomach or the back of your head, or just something that told you something's off, or everything is right, or I should do this, or I shouldn't do this, and you didn't know why, but you did understand that you had some intuition to it. The voice in your head, your gut, etc. So think about this. Being patient, but putting the effort in, working smart, working hard, being consistent. That's going to pay off with patience, and listening to your intuition, your experience. Obviously, too, you're going to ask some outside influencers and some other people for different perspectives as well. But you can put all of this together. Very simple. This is all stuff you have control over. These are all things you can control internally about yourself, right? The two things I tell you all the time on the podcast, I tell you two things. You control attitude and effort. We're talking about effort to put in consistently, and the attitude of patience, the attitude of slow play, of slow build, of understanding the process before you commit to the next level of the process. Think about that, right? So I'm going to give you now the example. I'm going to change the names, if you will, to protect the people involved. Really what I'm telling you is I know some things about a friend of mine's business, and I don't want to reveal anything about what they're doing because I want them to be as 100% successful as they can be in the pursuit that they're on because they've earned it. But I want to create some lessons and give some nuggets to you for the podcast today, right? On the topic of patience. So this business is something that my friends have built and have been working on for years, many years, with different levels of success. They started out like everyone at the bottom as amateurs, the first time out, right? We're trying to make it happen, trying to figure it out. They did. This type of business, it's a lot of hard work, literal sweat, literal working in hot conditions, standing on your feet, breaking your back. It is hard work. It's hot work. It is sweat inducing. It is muscle aching. It is a dedication to what it is that they do and their real drive to do just that. And the product that they produce comes from their childhood background. And so they have real passion for what it is that they do and patience to understand that building a business around this product was not going to happen overnight. It was going to take time, would have ups and downs. They've had wins and they've had losses. They've had things go their way and they've had things go against them. They've taken some breaks, taken some steps back, changed their roles along the way. All of this is a dynamic. This is how business happens. And business success does not happen the way it happens in movies, where someone has an idea and they call up a friend, and the next day they have a startup, and 2 weeks later they're on the cover of the New York Times, and $1 million rolls in and $1 billion rolls in a month later. That's not how things work. You have to be patient, because it's more likely you take one step forward, you take two steps back, you have some success, and then you have some failures. There's lessons in the failures, the setbacks, the unexpected outcomes, the things that don't work out well. There are lessons there. If you apply them, how you can make sure that you apply these lessons are how we started the conversation, by being patient, not going for the quick kill, the quick money, the easy money, but understanding that your setbacks will teach you lessons, taking those lessons and reapplying them, and then going into it again. Not because you want to solve the problem the first time, second time, because you know every time you do it, you will learn something new, you'll get better, you'll have experience, you'll have capabilities to move you forward. Once you get past that level to the next level, the experience you bring with you will help you get through that next level. Again, there'll be advances, there'll be setbacks, there'll be pros and cons. This is a whole process that my friends went through. They've put the effort in. There were chances for them to take shortcuts. There were chances for them to take easy money, to have partners who now, because they listen to their gut, but now, intuition is hindsight's 2020, right? Now they understand, even though it would have been easier in the moment, it would not have worked out correctly in the long run for a lot of different reasons. So the wrong partners, the wrong collaborators, the wrong physical location, the wrong situation, the wrong scenario. They were patient and not jumping at the first thing, waited for the perfect thing. Also, made some decisions that some people would have paid more or invested in different ways because something was maybe a little bit more trendy or a little bit more popular at the time. But these folks, being patient, being smart, working smart to go along with the hard work they were putting in, were not concerned about the trendy choice, about the popular choice, about being Instagram cool, but instead about building a business that had a reputation, that could produce income, that could produce profit, that they could prove their formula and their system, so that as they created relationships, as they created their brand, as they had a reputation, as people saw them as someone that they could potentially invest in or do business with, they were able to wait for the right partners. They were patient, but not patient in not putting effort out, not waiting to put effort in, but patient in taking advantage of the effort that they put in. They put in the hard work. They worked hard. They worked smart. They listened to their guts. They had their intuition about what it is they wanted to do. They were dedicated to their vision, but along the way, taking input from people about the product, about the service, about the location, about everything else that came along with it. So they did everything that you would hope someone would do, and when you're trying to be helpful for them, while sticking to their core values, while sticking to the thing they had passion for, it was the reason they started their business, understanding that they didn't need a business that was going to be successful for 1 year, not going to make good money this week or this month and then not, but a business that's going to go on a trajectory to continually do better, continually allow them to be successful along with it. Not just about making money and being profitable. That's good. It's beneficial and it's going to be good for their family, but something that's sustainable, something that can be built upon, something they can do for the next 50 years because they're young enough people. That's part of the equation. You don't want to do something for 5 minutes, make a couple of bucks and run and do something else. There's too much effort, too much working in building that. So there's continual learning that comes with this process, right? Everything we do in business, everything we do as entrepreneurs, as business owners, when you create a startup, when you're in the process, when you're going from 1 day of experience to 100 years of experience in your business, it's a learning process, a continual learning process. This is why patience is so important. If you want to know everything on day 2, you're fooling yourself. Even if you think you've achieved enough in 1 year, in 2 years, in 5 years, you're still fooling yourself. You need to have an attitude of continual learning, continual growth, continual effort, smart effort, but continual effort, doing things better every time, learning your lessons from the setbacks, etc. If you're patient in that process, if you have an attitude of continual learning, if you understand you're building something for 100 years and not 100 days, if you understand long money versus short money, if you understand the value of collaboration and finding the right partnerships that has deep connections beyond making money. It's about opportunity. It's about potential. It's about unlocking the things that you can't unlock yourself. That's why you have partners and collaborators, because they bring something different to the table. It's the same way when you hire people in your business. As your business grows, you have to hire people. You bring in skill sets. You bring in capabilities. You bring in all these things that expand the capability of the business, not to enhance you, not to make your job easier, although if you do things correctly, it does make your job easier. It makes the company more profitable, but because you need all of these things that you don't have as you started out, but you can gain them by learning, by going through the experience yourself, by hiring other people, by partnering and collaborating. The way to find the right partners, the right collaborators, the right employees, the right situations is patience, not jumping. Don't hire the first people that come in the door. Don't jump at the first opportunity that comes up. Do not get crazy about the first buck you make. And please do not think you're on the road to success because of the first $100, first $1,000, first $10,000, the first $100,000. That sounds like a lot of money, but in the scope of business, that's not a lot of money. You can't go crazy. You can't go buy a Mercedes. You can't go buy a Bentley. You can't go buy a Rolex because you made your first $10,000, $50,000, $100,000. You have to reinvest that money the way you reinvest your time, the way you reinvest your effort, the way you reinvest your learning process. You have to continually do that to a point before you can start taking money out. And when you start doing that, when you start taking money out of your business because you're being profitable, don't go and blow it on stupid shit. Do things that are sustainable. Put it into a piece of property like a house or a commercial facility that you can make money off of or earn money from. Put it into your education. Put it into your kids' education. Put it into your family. Put it into your health. Put it into things that are going to sustain you so that you can keep working in this business that's making money that you have to do this with. You all do this through patience and consistency and working smart and working hard. So consistency, working smart, working hard, being patient, following your gut, having intuition, being a continual learner. This is what makes for successful business owners, successful entrepreneurs, successful people. This creates situations where you have the potential, the most potential to be successful, to create something bigger than you, to create something that then will not just take you to different heights, but take other people, your employees, your collaborators, your partners, etc., and benefits everyone around you, including your community, your local community. You're providing something of value, a service or a product of value for other people. You're providing to the local tax base from your business, for the schools, and for other things that government does with our money. These are all beneficial when you build a business, when you have a successful business, when you have a sustainable business that lasts for a very long time. You employ people, you pay taxes, you ignite the local economy, you circulate money through the economy, you provide something of value to people. Whatever it is that cost you to make it and you provide it to someone else, they find value in it. They're willing to buy it because they think it's worth more than you are asking for, but it's worth more to you because there's a profit margin in it. All of that can be demonstrated by being patient. The opposite is true too. Have you seen businesses come and fail? Have you seen people who are successful for a short amount of time? Have you heard stories of lottery winners who become broke almost immediately? They blow the money, they spend the money. People who get things handed to them, people who have an easy process, people who don't know how to build something from A to Z, from level 1 to level 100, can't sustain it. If you didn't build it, if you don't know how you built it, if you're not patient in the process to understand and develop the process, to develop your systems, to develop your partners, to develop your collaborators, to be known, to have a brand, if you don't do all those things, if it happens instantly and overnight, like we see so much now on social media and on the internet and people of that nature who become quickly into popularity or notoriety or success, Some of them can keep it. Many of them cannot, just like a lottery winner who blows everything because the money was easy. Do not do that with your business. Do not be impatient in your pursuit of success, whether it's as a business, as an entrepreneur, as a self-brand, an artist, musician, social media influencer, podcaster, whatever it is that you're doing. Don't get enamored by early success. Learn from that success as much as you learn from your setbacks. Roll that into reinvest. Continue in the process. Be patient. Slow success is sustainable success. Quick success sounds fun, looks sexy, great on TV, not very smart in the real world. It's hard to hold on to. Some people eventually do. A lot of people don't. So this is why it's so important to drive home the idea today about patience as a virtue. Patience is something you should lead with. So patience is an attitude that you can control. The second half of that conversation is your effort. You're working smart and you're working hard. I'm not telling you being patient displaces or replaces anything else in the work smart, work hard scenario. You have to put effort in. You have to put grind in. That's how you know the job. That's how you know the business. That's how you can say at some point when you're the CEO that you understand every job in the organization because you've done them, because you built the thing from ground up. You were the first person that was doing the first job, and eventually you hired someone to do that, and you did the second job, and et cetera, et cetera. You have to understand how these things are built. You have to have patience for the process. But once you get there, when you get to the level that you're looking to, when you get to a level that's sustaining, and then it will open more doors for you to get to the next level and the next level because you've been patient, because you've built your process, because you have people around you that you can trust to collaborate with that support what you're doing. You have the skill sets, you have the knowledge, you have worked smart, and you have worked hard. You have earned it, you have paid your dues, etc., and you have examined your gut, your intuition, every decision you made, good and bad. When you look back on it, once all the facts are in, you know this whole story, when you can tell yourself, my gut was right or my gut was wrong. For me, I find myself and almost everyone else that I can have a real conversation with about how often they have to make these huge decisions, their intuition, their gut, the little voice in the back of their head was right. Now, it was hard for them to prove it at the time. Some of them followed the voice and it worked out well. Some of them didn't follow the voice, didn't work out well. But you learn a lesson from it, and eventually that intuition becomes one of your strongest assets if you pay attention to it, if you're patient in your process. All of this combines for not just easy money, not just quick success, but sustainable success. And that's what I want for you. I want long-term, sustainable, dependable, bankable success for all of you. That's the conversation today on the Saturday Morning Hustle. I appreciate you guys so much for tuning in. Someday, when my friends get to go public with all the stuff that they're working on now, I will come back and tell you that story about patience and about success was about these people, and they did it, and you can do it too, and you can learn from their example, and they're the kind of people who would probably tell you how they did it because they want everyone to be successful, and I want everyone to be successful. That's why I'm talking to you every Saturday here on the Saturday Morning Hustle. Appreciate you guys listening to each and every episode. Stream and subscribe. Leave a comment. Leave a review. I would really appreciate some reviews. I do not have enough of them, and they will help with the algorithm. Heck, tell a friend about the Saturday Morning Hustle while you're at it. Make sure you get your swag, your Saturday Morning Hustle, Entrepreneur AF, and Coffee and Donuts swag as well. Follow, engage on social media, Twitter, Instagram, the Facebook fan page. You can find me on LinkedIn too, of course, if you want to talk serious business. Never miss an episode of the Saturday Morning Hustle. There's a new episode of the Balance series coming up next Monday. It's the last Monday of the month. There's currently a podcast episode of the Balance series right now. Internal teams versus external third-party contractors. An interesting conversation. Check that out. And then be ready next Monday, just in a couple of days, will be a new episode of the Balance series. You have to check it out to see what the topic is for that one. All the information, all the past episodes, all the swag, everything you need to know is at SaturdayMorningHustle.com. See you next week.
Saturday Morning Hustle. Saturday Morning Hustle. Saturday Morning Hustle. Wake up and keep chasing your dreams.